Prices and hot rental market are sending some in our city to the brink financially. But tonight, we're looking at the mental health toll as well. Chris Glover is following this part of the story for us tonight. It's part of our No Fixed Address series. Chris, we've been contacted by a number of people saying they feel anxious or depressed because of their housing situation.
That's right, and on the mile end, we've been seeing people describing sleepless nights or general anxiety around housing instability, and then there are others on the more extreme end. 60-year-old Deb Hope, for example, says her housing crisis was part of what drove her to an emotional breakdown, and she says she lived with anxiety and ADHD already, but after multiple rent increases and allegations that she hadn't paid rent, the Toronto woman ended up in a legal battle and was then couch surfing.
I loved that apartment so much. It was my first place all of my own. The rising costs in Toronto, knowing that you live in an apartment, that there are certain standards that should be met and they're not being met, and there's very little you can do about it. So you're living with situations you don't even want to live with.
She ended up moving out of the GTA altogether, 150 kilometers north to Wasaga Beach, where she's finally doing well. Hers is a dramatic case, but CBC Toronto was also contacted by a therapist who says half her clients now complain housing stress is contributing to a deterioration in their overall mental health. And that's a spike in what she's observed over just the last couple of years.
Toronto housing market has become so problematic. People's choices are diminished, and so I think it compounds a sense of being trapped.
And she says it means obvious problems for the individual, but can also have wide-reaching implications for society and things like missed days at work or even extra hospital visits.
And we've been looking at this as a Toronto problem, but now this is getting national attention.
That's right. A national campaign advocating for housing reforms, Generation Squeeze, says it's something that they're watching in Toronto. The CEO of that campaign, Paul Kershaw, says the big message for people, it's not your fault.
And if it's no individual's fault that these things have happened, then we can help people move from a place of uncertainty about their own potential at failing to say, oh, it's not me. There's something bigger going on.
Generation Squeeze is trying to push for a national housing strategy. They're one of many groups calling for that, particularly one, though, that addresses not just affordable housing in the traditional sense, but also making housing more affordable for even middle-class Canadians who are more often getting priced out of Canada's largest city in Toronto.
And this problem is getting the attention it needs, and we're looking for change. Continued good work on this. Thank you, Chris.
Thanks.
Another factor in Toronto's housing market, the impact of services like Airbnb, and the city is now looking for your input on regulating them. Two consultation meetings will be held, one next week at North York Civic Centre and one in April at City Hall. Short-term rentals, long-term rentals, starter homes that turn into forever homes. We've been following your lead throughout our No Fixed Address series. And of course, we want to hear more. Send us an email to torontohousing@cbc.ca.